Okay, welcome everyone to my session. We are going to discuss today the Quality Cadet Unit Award. My name is Major Stacy McManus. I'm the Group 2 Deputy Commander in Maryland Wing. And please let me know, like throughout as we go, if you have any questions. I don't mind if you interrupt me. You can just drop them right there in the chat, and either Chris, our moderator, or myself will answer you. Thank you. All right, next slide. So what is the QCUA? You can find all the details about it on our national website. It's right there. You can see, I left it there so you guys could see the progression of how to get to there, or you can just search on the search bar, QCUA, and it will come up. But yeah, so under programs, cadet programs, then adult leaders, and it's one of the options below there. It has on there all of the criteria, which we'll go over in a couple minutes. And it also has all the previous winners in like an Excel spreadsheet. And that little logo that you see on there, if you earn the award, that means you're allowed to use that logo on your media stuff and on your Facebook, things like that. Letterheads, things like that. For the following year. So for 2019 winners, they get to use it for fiscal year 2020, and et cetera. 2020 winners get to use it for 2021. Okay. And then those graphics are downloadable from that same page. Next slide. So there's 2 eligibility requirements that you either have to be a cadet squadron or a composite squadron, and you have to have a minimum of 10 cadets. So you don't meet the minimum, or you're not one of those types, you're not going to get it. Okay, how do you earn it? In non-COVID times, you have to get 6 out of the 10 requirements by the end of August. But during COVID, there's been a waiver at least for fiscal year 20. It's most likely going to be for fiscal year 21 as well, but that's not official yet. But for now, aim for the 6. And that way you'll meet the 5 if you get 6. So anyways, so yeah. So for the ones that just got awarded it a couple months ago, that was the 5 out of 10 requirements for the COVID fiscal year. All right, criteria. There are 10 criteria, like we said. Cadet achievement, 45% of the cadets on the roster have attained the Wright brothers. Orientation flights, 70% of cadets. Retention, unit retained 50% of just the first year cadets during the previous year. Adult leadership, 3 TLC graduates. Encampment, 55% of cadets have completed encampment. Growth, that's either 10% or 10 cadets during the previous year. Aerospace, earned the Aerospace Excellence Award, or sent in an after action report after ordering a STEM kit. I want to stress that one. A lot of people get these STEM kits and they never turn in the after action reports. And that really hurts you here. Okay. Enrollment, unit has at least 35 cadets. Outside activities, unit participated in, and this is just one of these events, not all of them, Cyber Patriot, Team America Rocketry Challenge, the Stellar Explorers, or hosted a Red Ribbon Leadership Academy. And emergency services, 60% of the cadets on the roster have their GES certification. So those are the 10 requirements. So just remember, you need either 6 for non-COVID or 5 during COVID restrictions.
So we have a question down here. How is credit for outside activities earned?
Outside activities. So when you register for Cyber Patriot, you use your excuse me. You use your squadron ID to do that. Red Ribbon Leadership Academy is an after-action report. I honestly don't know about Stellar Explorers or the Team America Rocketry Challenge. I've never explored those. But they are linked, as you can see here. I pulled this directly from the national website, so you should be able to look on that same page I showed you in the first slide and just link right to each of those to see how registration works. Okay. Any other questions? Great, moving on. So where do you stand? So there's two ways to see where your unit stands. Now, depending on what your duty assignment is, you may or may not be able to see these, but your cadet programs officers, leadership officers, if you happen to be at the wing level, the director of cadet programs, and anybody in a command position should be able to see these reports or in e-services under cadet promotions. So if you have access to cadet promotions, you should have access to be able to see the QCUA. So as an example, I pulled down, I'm the deputy group commander, so I pulled down, if you're the cadet commander, can you see this? Probably not, unless they're given, there's a way to give extra permissions to people, temporary permissions, and you could do that for, say, the year of their term to be able to see the report. But I wouldn't, otherwise, probably not. Okay, so as an example, I pulled down the reports for my group, so you will be able to see them. It's just going to show the group level, so it's actually, there you go. So I renamed the squadrons. It will show actual squadron names over there. So this is where my group stands as of like 2 days ago. So even just a couple months in, we already have people earning it. Could you lose it? Yes, you definitely could. If your percentages change, you can lose it. And you'll notice here that the group who has 0 cadets already has 5 out of 6, or 5 during COVID times. But even though, since it's a senior member unit, we do not earn it, even though we show up on the report. It's weird, I know. Okay, so that's what the member report looks like. So when you go into option 1 to pull down the member reports, choose the unit, cadet quality report. That's what it will look like. And I suggest when you download it in the Excel format, because if you download in Word or PDF, it will end up on 2 pages. It cuts off like right next to the TLC, and then you end up having to line them back up again, and it's a hassle. So just download them in the Excel format to make your lives easier. Okay, and the other version is the QCUA details. So if you have access to cadet promotions, the cadet promotions application, you'll be able to pull this data, and that looks like this. So once again, this is just a group view, so there's nothing actually in there except for my TLC credit. But if you were in a cadet unit, you would see under each of these things, the cadets that have completed, or in senior members in the case of TLC, have completed that requirement. So you have the current cadets that started the award year, cadets with Wright Brothers, etc. So you'll be able to see that right there. Unfortunately, there's no way to download this details report, so I would just do a like a print screen or something like that if you wanted to print it out.
I actually have a question for you.
Sure.
It's really odd for the moderator to ask questions, but I'm going to go there.
Go ahead.
So I'm assuming this is a live snapshot of the day you run it?
Yes, the day you run it.
Is there any way to run this report to see where you ended at the end of the previous cycle?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no date function on either report, honestly.
Okay, thanks.
Now the other one, that one is updated quarterly, the member report, this one. Okay, so there you go. There's that one. All right, so pros and cons. So the pros of the QCOA obviously is recognition to the hardworking cadets and senior members. If you've already got a squadron that's doing what following all of the steps of the program and things like that, you're most likely going to get the QCUA. If you're a newer squadron or a smaller squadron, it might be a little bit more difficult, and we'll talk about why in slides later. So cons, and this is a really big con of the program. Some of you may have already noticed, the metrics don't quite work in your favor. If between the end of summer, I call it, but it's actually more of when the cadet encampments post. Once those post, anytime between then and August 31st, there are some, you really have to watch your numbers and make conscious decisions of, we're going to do this, we're going to submit this after action report and things like that. And we'll see why in a moment. Okay. So that's all there is about the details of the reports. Do I have any questions before I move on to the strategies?
If anybody has a question, you can either raise your hand, or the better option would be type it into the little chat window. So we did have a question there, I think was already answered. If the cadet commander can see it, probably not, unless their commander gives them access to view that module. Okay.
Okay.
No questions, we'll keep going. Great.
Okay. Here we go. Strategy A. So strategy A, do your best, honestly. Be proactive. Look at those criteria now. See where you stand. See what you can do to earn another criterion. Check the details and the report monthly, and that way you can keep up on it and inform your unit. You could even, that report with the details, give that report to your cadet commander or your DCC and let them know, hey guys, such and such a cadet, he just expired, so all of our numbers are off now because he had a Wright Brothers and he had an encampment, and now we're not making our percentages there. Is he going to renew? Yes? No? If he's not going to renew, then you have to make up for that. You have to either recruit somebody and hope it's before encampment so they can get the encampment credit, and hope they're a fast promoter, or just budget your time wisely when you're looking at the different criteria. And accountability. So that's where those after action reports come in that I was talking about. Like I said, several units I know of in my group, they have ordered STEM kits, several of them, and they don't turn in the after action reports, so they never get credit for it. And then when August 31st rolls around and I pull down the report to see who's going to get it the next day, so I have proof just in case somebody isn't on the list that they actually got it, and I see like they're one away and I know they had a STEM kit, it kind of like grinds my gears, I guess you could say. Why didn't you turn in that after action? You could have it. And things like this go into determinations for like squadron of the year and group of the year, things like that. So it's recognition for you and for your cadets, but it's also for the group and for the wing, things like that. These numbers are all talked about at all levels. All right. Next slide. So strategy B. So for these next couple slides, we're going to make an assumption. Our assumption is we're pulling the report on August 1st, okay? So that's the beginning of August. We have 1 month left. And the encampment numbers have already posted. So you can see those on the report. So I'm pulling straight from the report I showed you guys earlier, but I'm just going to pick a squadron. So Squadron A. We're looking at Squadron A. So these are real numbers for a unit right now. So you can see these are real numbers. They don't meet the 35 cadets. They have 34. They're so close. They could definitely get one more. They've already done their growth of 10 cadets, and I'll wrap back into that later because there's actually a strategy for that too. cadets with Wright brothers, no, they don't have 45%, but this is just November. They have 34 cadets on the rolls right now. They could definitely get the numbers they need for Wright brothers by the end of next August. Cadet O-rides. If you were on during the general session, you heard about how the O-ride numbers are low right now, and that's because of COVID and how we weren't able to fly for so long. Now, these are just since the September 1st to now, but there's going to be more opportunities. And if you were in Trick's cadet programs update last session, he mentioned it as well about doing O-flight days and moving planes around when needed. So those opportunities are definitely going to happen. And if you're in a unit that does not have a plane or does not have pilots, definitely reach out to your group or wing levels if you don't have groups to be able to organize those O-rides. There's, at least in Maryland Wing, there is an orientation flight coordinator. So you could email her or text her, honestly, and she'll let you know, hey, we're not flying right now, or the next fly-in is going to be at this place at this time. Do you want to sign up? And then you put your cadets on the list, you know. So those opportunities are coming. Encampment. So remember, in our scenario, encampment has already posted. So they have 6. 55% does not reach it, so they're not going to be able to get it. So here we are at August 1st, and that's already a no, and that's something we cannot change. TLC, that works, 7. You've got a nice little buffer there. If you had maybe just the minimum 3, I would go check those 3 people and make sure they're not going to expire at the end of August. You know, if they're one of the ones that are going to drop off the books on August 31st, they're not going to show up on September 1st when they run the numbers. And you want to make sure that they renew ahead of time and they don't drop off your statistics. AEX, so this person did do an after action report, or the squadron. STEM, they did not do that, but it's a one or the other deal. So yes, they got that one. Outside activities, they haven't done any of the outside activities, so that's a no. Cadets joined in the last year, 19, first year renewal, 10. So yes, they are making that. Retention question. Okay, Christine asked a question. She's asking, if you have a first-year cadet that transfers to another wing and renews, will that be counted against your numbers, or will the number of cadets go down by 1? I understand what you're asking. If a cadet you recruited moves to another unit during the year, you know, it could go either way. I'm not sure. But if you happen to notice when you run that QCUA details report that they dropped off your first year renewal or for retention, but they still show up on the cadets joined last year, that's definitely something, what is it, like September 2nd, 3rd, something like that. You'll get an email from, or the commanders will get an email from your wing or group level saying, hey guys, this is the draft list. If you think you should have earned it, please give us a reason why. And you can go right on national website and they have a little thing at the bottom where you fill it out saying, my squadron should have had this. We had these members. This cadet moved to another unit, but he's still here. And then they will alter the statistics for you and get back to you. And hopefully that will mean you meet your 5 or 6 criteria that you need. Does that answer your question? Great.
I do want to add one thing, and this is something that happened to me as a former unit commander. Mm-hmm. If a cadet transfers out of your squadron or ages out, turns 21 mid-year, all the stats for that cadet do drop off your scorecard. Yeah,
that's true. I actually I ran a report earlier this week for all of the milestones in Maryland Wing from the last year, and one of our spots cadets was not on that, and that is because he turned 21.
Turned 21 and they drop off.
And he dropped off, yep. And I was like, I know there's a third one. Where is he?
So that actually hurts a few different things because that hurts this report, entire report, because that cadet most likely, if they got that far, has all of this finished.
Yep.
But it also affects reports that the wing runs for other award criteria. And that's where the squadron commanders need to push those squadron numbers up, and the squadrons need to keep track of that on their own.
Yes, I agree. And if there's like I said, if there's just show evidence, that's why it's another benefit to run these reports monthly, so that you have the evidence there, right there, saying we had this, and he turned 21, or he moved to another unit, things like that. So you have the evidence you need. All right, so Weinhold asks what counts as an outside activity. You joined a little late. I will go back to that slide at the end for you so you can read it. Do they run the report on August 31st or September 1st? It's supposed to be August 31st, but I've seen it run like September 1st, September 2nd. So that's why it's good for you to go on August 31st and run that report. All right, next slide. Well, not next slide, add to this slide. So, little scenarios here. So what we're doing here is strategy A is we're doing new recruits. So we're adding 4 recruits, adding 8 recruits, adding 11 recruits. And these are the numbers that would be required should they make those new recruits. So is it feasible? You have to look at it. If I recruit 4 cadets, that's 38. Can I have 18 Wright brothers? Remember, it's August 1st. So can I get 18 Wright brothers in the next month? Is that feasible? O flights, 27. Well, you're at 25 right now. So yeah, you could potentially do 27. That's definite. Encampment, no, we definitely can't have 21 because we're already stuck at 6. Encampment's over. GES, 23, yes, we could do that. So that is Squadron A. All right, Squadron F. Now we're looking at a slightly smaller unit. So this unit only has 13 cadets on the roster. So obviously they don't make the 35. Of the new cadets, unfortunately, their enrollment has gone down. They had cadets as of August 31st, 17, and they have dropped down to 13. Cadet with Wright brothers, 6. Fortunately for them, this cadets that they lost seem to be not ones with Wright brothers, or if they were, it didn't really affect their statistic too much. But if they lose just one more cadet, they will drop that number off. It will be 5 and it won't be 45%. So, and oh, a key note here, when you're calculating percentages of the current cadets, always round up, because you can't have 0.4 of a cadet or whatever. It's going to be, instead of saying 5.4, it's going to be 6 is the requirement. 70%, nope, they don't have that. But they could, if they went to one of those O-flight days and took all their, little baby cadets and got those O-flights in, they could potentially do that. Encampment, no. TLC, they're one of the ones with the minimum 3. So definitely look at those senior members, see if they expire in August. Maybe get 1 or 2 more people to sign up for TLC. That could be a goal. STEM, no. AEX, no. So that's a no. Outside activities, no. Cadets joined last year, 7. First year renewal, only 3. So that's probably where some of those dropped off cadets went. They just didn't retain them in their first year. And GES, once again, only 6. So, scenario. So if we happen to get total cadets 17 plus 4, are these things feasible? Oops. Are these things feasible? You just have to run the numbers for yourself. Be like, okay, I can do this. But what happens in August? All those back to school nights, your open houses, you have all of these parents and people coming to you, visiting because you went to those back to school nights. But that's where the strategy comes in that I'm going to talk about here. So this is called Strategy B, the one we just talked about. What I'm calling it is the pause enrollment method. So after encampment, let's say July 31st to the August 31st, yes, have cadets come to your meetings, or potential cadets, prospective cadets come to your meeting. Have them do their 3 meetings that they need before they can enroll. Have them do their application, but let it sit in the queue until September 1st. Get them their uniforms because you know they're coming in, but they won't be able to do any activities, unfortunately, outside activities, until they're full members and have a Cap ID card. So that's the detriment of this strategy. What that will do, though, is that will prevent your percentages from changing too much and dropping off. And because if you gain a whole bunch of cadets in that last month, there's no way they're getting the Wright brothers. There's no way they're getting encampment. They may or may not be able to get GES done in a month. They may or may not be able to get their first flight in, depending on, weather. I know last summer before, I've done Bay Patrol here for 3 summers, and at least every weekend in the summer, there is some kind of thunderstorm storming us out. So at least one shift gets rained out. So, that same thing happens with O flights. So that's the pause enrollment method. It is a little bit controversial. Some don't agree with it. Some say, bring the cadets in. Who cares about this award? We want to get these cadets in and started. Because once again, if you're pausing enrollment, they're not going to be able to access e-services until you hit that button saying that they can be a member and accept their application. But that is up to your command team and, your committee and cadet programs. Just talk about it. See what you want to do. And there's no reason you can't do multiple of these strategies. You can pull things together. So instead of maybe after encampment, like July 31st, you could say anybody that comes after the first week in August, we're going to pause them and they'll do their 3 weeks in August but we're not going to hit their button until September 1st at least. So it might be slightly more than 3 weeks, but it will still, it will help not throw off your percentages. I've seen a lot of people that do that. At the last minute, they get 10. And that's what I was looking at with this one here, where they had cadets join 19. So they did the pause enrollment method. And just after September 1st, they hit the button on many, many cadets that they had in the queue. And they all went through, and so they end up on the next year. But so then you have to retain all of those to keep your 50%. So any questions about the pause enrollment method? No. Okay. Next method, strategy C. Okay, so I'm going to share another screen. Give me one moment to switch over. I don't see it. Look, you know what? I'm just going to share my whole desktop and bring it up. All right. Okay, can you guys see the scorecard here?
Yep, we have it.
Okay, great. Okay, so once again, I've deleted all the cadet names from the side here. Now, when I was a unit commander, I actually used this and posted it up on like an 11x14 chart. I updated it monthly for the cadets so they can see where they currently stand, and it's all by the numbers for the cadet of the quarter. And by doing this, you're holding them accountable. So if they want to be the cadet of the quarter, they need to do these things, and it's all listed out here. So attending the meetings, there's actually some hidden slides right here. Open it up. So like if you had others, where's the other one? Here? Yeah, there we go. So all attending meetings and long duration activities. And I don't see it here, but I used to have wearing their uniform properly on this as well. So there would all be a uniform on there. So this right here is the number of points they can earn for that particular activity. I always put the dates in there so they know. Weekend activities, long activities, so that's like encampment or search and rescue college, things like that. Renewing their membership gets them 8 points, so that's a high ticket item, so that you're encouraging them to renew and retain, and passing written exams and earning their promotions, so you're trying to get them to that Wright Brothers quicker. Earning their rocketry badge, so that could be one of those outside activities. It's not the same rocketry badge, it's a different rocketry program, but you can easily modify this to include those programs as well. Bring a friend to CAP, so that's your recruiting effort. Actually recruiting a member gets them 10 more points, so if that friend actually joins. Earning the honor roll cord. I'm not sure if all wings have this, but we do have it here. NCSA applications. Now this is just submitting the application. It has nothing to do with actually attending activities. If they do the NCS application, then they go to NCSA review boards and they have that experience. That's the point. Tri-wing applications. This can be for staff or students. The 116 exam, and I also put the aircraft ground handling here because I'm a flight line girl, so I put it in there as it's just a regular part of my program when we're bringing in new cadets, is to watch that video and take the quiz. And then representing the unit as a CAC representative, and you'll notice that multiple people have credit for that, and that is because that is my primary and alternate, and you don't have to have the same alternate every month. They could switch it up, so that's why you have another one in here. And this is quarterly, so that's 4 potential cadets that could have that credit. And it's all formulated and totals up, so out of 182 possible points, let's see, at the moment, nope, 43, nope, 44. So cadet number 3 would be earning it. You'll also notice over here I have some closed slides. These are inactive cadets, so only the active cadets are the ones that I print out for everybody to see. You could maybe just put CAP ID numbers on there or assign your cadets a number or something if you wanted to make it more anonymous. Okay, so do you have any questions about this? This is just to encourage them to do their part towards the Cadet Quality Unit Award. So this is where I was talking about combining strategies. Is there any questions about this scorecard? Oh, here's the uniform inspection down here. Satisfactory 2, excellent 4. No questions? Oh, there it is. Uniforms.
So somebody did ask about the outside activities. Looked like you were going to go back to that at the end. Do you still have the option of doing that?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I still have a couple more slides and then I'll go back to it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and if anybody wants this this Excel spreadsheet, okay, Archie, that is 6 out of 10 for non-COVID. Yes, I agree, Debbie. Definitely post it for accountability. And I mean, it comes in handy for your flight commander, your cadet flight commanders, to be able to see, like, hey, I've been trying to get this guy to take a test, and then next quarter, there's still no improvement, you know, that then they know who they need to pay more attention to and who might need some help. Okay. So let me go back. Where is it? Oh, I'm going to unshare and then go back to my slideshow. So that is, where are we? That was strategy C for the scorecard, and holding your cadets accountable. So that is the cadet of the quarter method. And also, of course, I mean, I'm not sure if it's authorized in every wing, but in Maryland wing, the cadet of the quarter gets to wear a cord on their uniform for the following quarter. So just a little bit more bling, because I know I was one of them, one of those cadets that was encouraged by bling. All right. All right, strategy D. So this is going to be the exact opposite of the strategy we talked about before. So our what if scenarios. So what strategy D is talking about is actually to being cadets. And of course, follow your regulations. But if you decide you wanted to be a cadet, you need to decide that at the beginning of summer. Okay, the beginning of summer. Look through your list. Look at your inactives. Look at those, you know, maybe if you did like 10 people on September 1st and you hit that button and say 3 of them never actually made anything of themselves. They haven't answered the phone. They haven't come back to meetings. You haven't been able to get a hold of them. Follow the regulations. Send your 3 methods of contact. If you still don't hear from them by the end of summer, to be them. Get them off your rolls before August 31st. That will, you have to look at it and see if it will help your numbers to do that. And that's only going to help for the cadets that didn't participate and didn't make it to Wright Brothers or didn't make it to encampment. So you need to look at those cadets and try to, so here we're looking at if we dropped to 55 cadets, the Wright Brothers, would that make it? Currently, no, because they only have 21. O flights, 39, no, but you could potentially do that because it's 32 there. You could make that potentially. Encampment, 31, no, you're still not going to make that. So how far down do we need to go before we can make it with what our current numbers are and not like dropping people that have these numbers? In this case, Wright Brothers 21 is at 45 members. But like I said, it's all a strategy, and we have to combine strategies, move things around, make conscious decisions of what's best for your unit. Is cutting the dead weight, which is the name of this strategy, dead weight method, is cutting the dead weight in your favor. So that is all I have. Is there any questions about the 4 strategies we went over today or the criteria? And I'm going to go back to that slide that Bambi asked about, or that, who asked about that? Sherry, why not?
Now, don't forget this session is recorded. I did miss the first 2 minutes of it, and that was my fault. But the sessions are recorded. They will become available at some point for anyone to go back and view or watch at a later date. I don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but it will. I'm also going to go ahead and, unless we have any questions, go ahead and post that session survey link one more time. Make sure you do that before you lose the link out of the session. And at this point, any questions for Major McManus?
Anything at all. I'm always here. It can be about this or not. I don't care. Okay, so here's that slide I was talking about with the outside activities. There's 4 of them that qualify. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. And they have little links on them if you go on the national website. And honestly, just put the search thing QCUA and it will come up on the national website. Yes, they are the only 4. Yeah, because they're trying to encourage participation in these activities. So the Red Ribbon Leadership Academy is something I would encourage for your older cadets, the ones that have they're not necessarily on line staff, but if you have one of those squadrons that have a plethora of lieutenants and barely any NCOs and airmen, get those lieutenants to put together a Red Ribbon Leadership Academy. And with so many schools doing online events now, you could potentially arrange it with they have a homeschool cohorts. You could arrange to do a Red Ribbon Leadership Academy with a homeschool cohort and get that in. Cyber Patriot is usually a self-motivated thing. They're not going to ask you to come and participate. You have to express you want to participate. Rocketry and Stellar Explorers, as I said before, I'm not familiar with these two programs, but they are linked on the national website if you want to view them. Any other questions? So I'm going to go back to the last slide with my contact info. Here you go. So feel free to email me whenever. I'm also on Facebook, LinkedIn, all that. I'm even on MySpace.
All right. Thank you, Major McManus, for all the good information we had today. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording for this session.
Okay.
I will leave the room open